Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I'm here with my co-host,
Coni Meyers with Kick Butt Leadership.
And we are at the Hope to Hope conference. It has been an amazing 4 days. This is the fourth day, and it's not over yet.
Nope, we got more to go.
And I'm very excited about our next guest because, well, and I know I say it every time. Every time I'm excited. But the next one is actually, I can tell you without any reservation, she can take credit for this, like even the backdrop being better in the Hope to Hope conferences. She can take credit for me being better on camera. She can take credit for a whole lot of things. She tells me to stop it all the time, but I just have to publicly say she has given me great feedback and helped me with getting better so that we can serve bigger. So my next sweet guest is Zee Najarian from LA.
I'm like, wait, am I up there?
You're up there. Yeah. I want you to give kind of an introduction because, like, I know what I want to say, but you'll like not want me to say.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for always graciously giving me credit for things that maybe I helped you with, but you did because you took action. So that's all you, girl. So this is the first time you guys are seeing me. My name is Zee. Through like many years of trying and failing and trying to figure out what it is that I want to do, what my gifts are to the world, I finally came to a place where, okay, I get it now and I'm doing it. And of course it's going to evolve as I evolve and as I grow. But I teach multi-passionate creatives how to turn their passions into a digital business so that they can have more time for the things that they love most, like either spending time with their family, traveling, whatever it is that they want to do. And if you're in a place where you feel like, I don't know what I want to do, but I feel like I'm made for something more, just know that if you have that feeling, if you feel it, then that means that there is something more and that it's totally possible. You wouldn't have the desire if you weren't meant to do it.
Wow. And you just like came right out of the gate, like doing I'm telling you. I love it because you are contagious. I think that's a good word for you because your energy and your kindness and you're a sweet person, but you have so much bubbly energy and I love being around you. So thank you for infecting us with your like awesome sauce.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Well, so I want to go to the backstory because, everybody has a backstory and everybody has a place where most people don't want to share because they feel like, oh, people won't like me if I share this but that is so opposite of the Hope to Hope. The Hope to Hope conference is all about sharing those places, being vulnerable so that other people can realize they don't have to be stuck where they are and they're not alone. So would you tell us your backstory?
Yeah, of course. So I've kind of always throughout my life felt like, okay, I can accomplish things. I guess I was born with the ability to decide that, okay, I'm going to do this and decide that I could do it no matter what. But I never knew what it is that I was going to do. So I kept trying different things. I kept asking people, okay, what's the point of life? Why are we here? I don't get it. And I got all these weird answers, but I was never satisfied with it, And so I just kept trying different things. I started off with computer science as a degree. I was one of those people that never knew what I was going to major in. And I kept talking to the counselors. I kept like reading all these things and I could never decide. I was like, something is wrong with me. I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I started off with computer science. Then I went to interior design. And then I went to architecture. And then I wanted to do acting. And then I wanted to be a pianist. There was like this whole range of things. And then I got my master's in accounting. And so I've like done so many different things trying to figure out why am I here and how am I going to contribute to society? So The thing that really was a pivotal moment for me was about 6 years ago. I decided that, okay, so I'm going to get my master's in accounting. I had my bachelor's in interior design. So I'm like, okay, that's it. It's a perfect combination and this is going to be perfect for me. So I decided to move out to San Francisco. I love that city. I'm like, that's where I want to be. I got into a really good a school that had architecture as a major. And I was the first one in my family to move away for school. So our family's very like, you stay home till you get married and then you move out, right? So it was a big deal. People kept telling me, okay, are you sure you want to do this? I don't know, don't do it. Why are you going over there? It's going to cost you a lot of money. But I was like, no, I'm going to do this because I love San Francisco. Let's be honest, it was mostly because I love San Francisco. So I went out there. There was this big old going away party. I was given like all these gifts that I can use for my major. I got a new laptop. They gave me a new Mac. They gave me this awesome camera, everything that I'm going to need for my major, right? So people spend so much money. They invested so much and everyone was ready. Okay, you're going. So I go, I get there. I spend about like 2-3 months taking my first course. It was the summertime. It was an introductory course. And then I start realizing that, oh, I don't like the course. I don't like the way they're teaching it. I feel like I'm trapped. Like I started getting these feelings of like, uh-oh, I made a mistake. And I've done so many things and I know myself to know that as soon as I get that first feeling that that's it, I already know it's going downhill from there, right? I'm like, I've tried to push through that feeling so many times and so many things, and I've always regretted and I've always said I should have quit sooner when I got that feeling. So I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? And I've always been the type of person, like staying true to your word was such a big thing when I was growing up in my family. You say something, you better do it. So then I started feeling all these feelings of guilt and shame and how I can't go back. I said, I'm going to go get this degree. Everyone invested time and money. There was a big going away party. How am I going to face all these people? How am I going to go back? So there was all this shame. There was all this guilt. And I even thought, I'm like, I could just quit school and stay here and find a job and no one will know. No one will know any better. I'll just stay for 3 years, pretend I'm done with school and go back. But then I had to, like think about it. I talked to a really close friend and she's like, well, you're going to be wasting money. You're going to be wasting time. Might as well go back, live at home, save up your money and figure out what you're going to do. So honestly, I came back and for about close to a year, I didn't tell anyone that I was back. Because I felt so like guilty and I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell people? And so that was the real pivotal moment because I realized, okay, right now I'm at ground zero. I had quit my full-time job to go out there. I had a plan. I thought I had a plan. So now it's time to really get serious and figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And I kind of stayed in hiding for a little bit, didn't want people to know I'm back, didn't want to talk to people, and had to really figure out what is it that I'm going to do. And even for like 2-3 years after that, I still felt the guilt. I didn't want to think about it. As soon as I started thinking about the fact that I went and I came back, like all these feelings of like shame would just rise up. So but now that I went through that process, now that I like pushed through and I was like, I can't worry about what people are going to say. I just have to just keep showing up and keep doing things. And now I'm at a place where I appreciate that happened. I appreciate that. I can't imagine where I would be if I forced myself to stay there or if I like actually did that degree and I finished it. I would not give up where I'm at for anything. So it was a very vulnerable place, but I had to force myself because I was like, I can't just sit here and be in hiding forever because I'm ashamed of what people are going to think. Because people will say stuff, but guess what? After a few weeks, everyone forgets because everyone's busy dealing with their own lives. Everyone's busy worried about how they're going to live, how they're going to survive. So I had to just let that go and not worry about it and just push through. And it was the most amazing thing that I've ever done. I won't give it up for anything.
You like are so wise though to be young, because that is it doesn't really matter what age bracket you're in. We've all done something that we regret or that we wish we could change, and we've worried about what other people are going to say. That's a huge, huge thing to this day for anyone that does online anything. We all fight that. Like, we all fight that feeling of, should we be doing this? Is someone going to laugh at us? Is someone going to make fun of us? Is someone going to be mad at us because they have a different, agenda for us?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, you just bring up a lot of really good things about, that point in your life that taught you from that point on to react differently.
And, more recently, I was introduced to, Brene Brown. She talks a lot about shame and vulnerability. And when I read her things, listen to her books, I realized that that's so much of my story, that I was like, I felt so much shame and I felt so much guilt, and I was afraid of what people were going to say. But really, Brene talks a lot about how when you're able to be vulnerable and honest, that's when real connections happen. That's like a lot of beautiful things are born out of that. And when I was able to actually confide in a few people and kind of tell them how I'm feeling, our relationship is so much better now. It's so much stronger because I was able to be in that vulnerable space and share that with them.
I think vulnerability is a superpower.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that people misunderstand. We're so deceived. We deceive ourselves, but I think we are so deceived into thinking that if you know where I came from, or you know what struggle I had, or you know how I felt about something, or I did this thing, whatever it is, you won't like me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so not true, because the ones that really are your tribe and really are the ones that you should be with, they don't look at that and turn their nose up.
Right.
They don't look at that and say, oh, if they do that, they're not my flavor.
Yeah. I love that you say that. I love that you're like, you're my flavor. Yeah, because true acceptance asks us to be more of who we are, not less, not to be someone different. So that's absolutely true.
Well, and having that, going there and realizing that it wasn't the right place, but there was a purpose for you to go there. And maybe it was to realize and then to come back. And maybe it was for you to realize that it is okay to let yourself be vulnerable. It is okay to go and do something that maybe isn't the right thing, and then recognize it. I call those crystalline moments of clarity. And you then can find the opportunity, which is what you've done. You found the gift and the opportunity for yourself on how to move forward and how to use that experience as part of your story to help others.
Yeah, and you definitely help other people.
Thank you. I have to say, I think we all know deep down inside, we all know what we're meant to, what our gifts are, but we just, we deny it and we say that it's too simple. In a sense, it's too simple. And we're like, no, that's definitely not it. Ever since I was when I was younger, growing up, I always had this feeling of when I would watch someone playing an instrument, or I would go to a concert and I would just look around and feel how alive people felt. And I was like, I want to make people feel that way. Like that feels so amazing. I would be that person that would just be looking around, and my parents were always like, "What are you doing? Pay attention to the concert." And I was like always like amazed. When I would watch amazing movies, I would like get like these like feelings, right? If the actor's really good, you get all these emotions and you actually feel like you're there. And I was like, I want to do that. That's why I wanted to be an actress at some point, because I'm like, I want to get people to like feel these things. And so it was like, I always knew I wanted to help people give their highest contributions to the world. I wanted them to feel amazing and like really step into their greatness. But I didn't know how to actually translate that into something. Like, how do I get people to do that? So to me, it was a career. It was like, let me be an actress. Let me be a pianist. Let me, even interior design was a way to make people feel things, because when you walk into a space that's designed really nice, you get these like rush of feelings, right? Like you feel amazing. Or if you step into a building that's really old and historic, you kind of get transported to this different space. So all of these careers that I've chosen and wanted to do really came from that part, that like root, that I wanted to make people feel things and like and contribute to the world. So I just never wanted to accept it, and I couldn't think of the path that would get me there. But our job is to know the what, it's not to know the how. The universe takes care of the how, and you can't stop yourself because you can't see the path. So if you can figure out the what, the how will just follow.
It's absolutely true. You're right, spot on. I think, and I love what you said about when you figured out your purpose. It seemed too simple, and it couldn't be that simple. I can't tell you how many clients I've had that have said the same thing. Well, that's too simple, or that's not big enough. Well, no, it is big enough. It's what you do with that that really gives you the path, the journey, and that's your vision. What is it that you want to end up? Where do you want to end up? So, you've taken a lot of different paths and you found different ways to do things, and now you're truly doing what you were put on this earth to do.
Yeah, and I don't know. Thank you, thank you. I don't know how we came to this idea that things have to be difficult to be worthwhile. I'm really not sure, but we're like, we take things and we complicate it, and we don't see the obvious, and we have like starving artists, and Liz Gilbert talks about this in Big Magic. Like it's like we have to suffer in order for our work to mean something. And I don't know where that came from, but it's definitely not true. Things that bring you joy, things that are simple, can lead to a lot of great things, fulfillment, into a great job, into more money. So whatever it is that we're seeking, I believe that there is an easier way. There's always a path that has less resistance.
And I think, and I love collaboration, as we know, but I think that one of the ways that we figure out some of those things is the movement. We have to be moving to figure out that thing. But I think when you figure it out, all of a sudden you attract the people into your life that will help you figure out the how. That you attract the people into your life that will like actually come alongside you and help you get to that place. And I think that, we get caught up and we don't know how, so we're just going to sit here and we're not going to show up. We're not going to show up to anything because we don't have it figured out. And I think that you're a great example of showing up anyway. Like, show up, and even if it's the wrong school or the wrong thing, you showed up, which, that's a big deal.
Yeah. And a part of that is that if you don't consistently show up, if you don't take steps, if you don't take action, then you're not going to know the signs that maybe your body gives you, or the signs like that gut feeling. You need to work that. You need to exercise that. Just like I knew as soon as I got that first feeling, this isn't for me, I'd already experienced those feelings multiple times because I've taken action multiple times. And I knew that I'm like, okay, I can't drag it on because I know where this leads. So if you're always just sitting there thinking about things and never taking action, then you're never going to know yourself. You're never going to know the signs that you get. You're never going to know when to quit or when to keep going. So you need to always be taking action. And I think that's like the biggest thing of successful people is that they make quick decisions, they act on it. And then they correct route when they feel like, okay, I know that this is wrong or I need to do this. And then they just make another decision and keep going.
Well, I'll tell you a funny. I get lost everywhere I go. That's just the way it is. I've not figured out a solution to that problem yet. It's a princess problem. But I come here with,
I know a solution. You need a chauffeur.
Oh, actually, that is exactly the only solution I've ever come up with that works.
Yeah.
I have a GPS, and I know where I want to go, but my GPS, even on my phone, if I'm not moving the truck or the car, if I'm not moving, it doesn't actually give me accurate directions.
Oh.
And I have figured out that if I will move, even if it's through a parking lot, it suddenly will show me the right steps. And I think that's what you're talking about. That's just a visual that I have, is we might make several stops along the way, but if we keep following that internal GPS, through taking chances or risk or moves, showing up for something that you feel like you're supposed to show up for, but you don't even know why.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like that would be what you should do, maybe, but yet you show up because you have that internal GPS that says, this is the way to get there.
Yeah.
I think you can create a magical life for yourself because you are showing up in places that, other people just don't recognize that is part of the plan. And it is part of the plan.
It is part of the plan. And you're going to take away some kind of gift or opportunity, no matter how big of what it might be considered a failure or a mistake, how big it might have been. There's always going to be something. There's going to be a gift or an opportunity that you get from that will push you forward into what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And that internal GPS a lot of times goes against logic. It goes against reason. I think that's why a lot of people don't follow it, or they're like, I don't have that, because a lot of times it just doesn't make sense. And you just have to keep listening to it so that you can understand what it feels like and what it's trying to tell you. If it's your first time ever listening to that feeling, you're probably going to make a mistake. You're not going to do it right. But then when you reevaluate and you're like, wait, I felt this way and I did this, that meant this, and I ended up here, then next time when I have this feeling, I'm going to act this way. I know what this means. So you just have to keep practicing to actually get it right. And I read this a really long time ago. Quitting is easy. I've done it many times. So it's easy to quit, right? The thing is that when you're in motion, it's easier to switch course and keep going. When you stop and you quit, it's so much harder to get that momentum and to go again than it is to just keep going. And then you can course create, you can correct, you can route correct and go somewhere else and take a different route. But if you just keep quitting all the time, you're going to be wasting so much more energy to get started. You're going to need so much more resources, and you're going to start from zero again. So that you just have to stay in motion. And that car your GPS example is perfect. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of a GPS system that does that, which is really cool.
Well, and I will tell you, a couple of years ago, I went to NASA, and they had the space shuttles where you could actually see, how big they are and everything. And I was so and I know that they probably thought I was crazy because I was off on a whole, other tangent than what they were really talking about. But I'm thinking it is so much like business. It is so much like finding that gift that the liftoff for that is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Like, all of the energy goes into getting that moving and into where it can even have a course.
Yeah.
where it can even get out there and have a path to go down. And I think a lot of us, and me, like I am a great example of, I would hit my head. I always laugh and talk about the fleas in the jar. If you put fleas in a jar, they'll hit their head on the lid, and then after a while you can take the lid off and they still do not jump out because they go just below where they were hitting their head.
Yeah.
And so I think of a space shuttle in that same way. If every time I got to that place and I didn't ever break gravity, I just kept quitting, and I've done it, then it's like so discouraging. And I think it becomes easier and easier to quit.
Yeah.
But I also think it becomes easier and easier to bust gravity once you've done it.
Yeah, that's true. Because you kind of have, it's like muscle memory. Once you get to a place, you already you're used to it. You're ready for it. So next time you go even higher and you're able to do better. And same goes for quitting. Every time you quit, it's muscle memory. It gets easier and easier to quit. You keep lowering the bar. That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Well, I think you're a great example of busting gravity.
Yeah.
Aw, thank you. Thank you. And everyone can do it. Every single person. No one has an advantage over another person. Maybe you think that someone has more resources, or that someone has more money and they know more people and they're born under a lucky star, whatever it is. But we've seen time and time again that the people who we think have the least or are the most disadvantaged and have nothing and came from such a background that is so awful and we think they'll never make it out of there, those are the people who actually end up busting through gravity and doing huge and amazing things that us lucky people or people that we think have more money, they end up in worse places because it's not about the money or the luck or what you have. It's about realizing that you can do it and not letting anyone else convince you otherwise. It's about just seeing that it's possible way before there's an indication that it even is possible.
Well, we just want to see if we can bottle you and put you in our pocket.
Yeah.
Because you're such an encourager, and you're such a blessing to all of us. And my tribe is smitten with you, just so you know.
Aw, thank you.
Samantha McConnell was on, and I want to say, I'm going to read what she said because it was so cute. She says, Zee is awesome and an angel.
Oh, thank you. You guys are a huge blessing in my life. And thank you for the opportunity and for inviting me to talk to your tribe and to just put my story and myself out there. I really, really appreciate it. And for introducing me to Coni.
I have to tell you, now that we've been talking about rockets,
yeah,
my total image of you is Rocket Zee.
I like that.
You'll have to make a graphic and post it and tag me.
Yeah. I might.
Yeah, don't put it past her. I love it. Well, thank you, Zee, for coming on, and thank you for sharing, because everyone that's listening, I hope that they realize if they're in that spot of wanting to quit, don't. That's the best thing, is just don't. No matter what it is, you'll get past it. And it does not have to be that you're alone. You have a whole tribe of people you have access to during this conference that are here and ready to help. So thank you, Zee, for being on with us.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you. Likewise, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you for the great work that you're doing, the Hope to Hope conference, where it started from, and 5th year, I think you said, right? So it's amazing. So many, many more to come. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Coni Meyers with Kick Butt Leadership.
And I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. We are going into session 26 at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time with the Hope to Hope Conference. Thank you guys for being with us. See you in the next session.